In today's video, we're gonna talk about 5 Cinema 4D plugins that you will find very useful for dealing with meshes and splines. So if you are a designer or a motion graphics artist, you will find this handy. Without further ado, let's jump right in. We're gonna start with Slicer, a plugin that offers a nice approach to modeling by allowing you to parametrically slice and dice models and geometry easily and with real-time feedback. I think this is gonna be useful for a lot of different situations, especially for motion graphics. At its core, Slicer is all about precision, and the plugin offers advanced but still intuitive user interface, with a myriad of features that give you a high level of control, from aligning the cuts to any preferred angle and dictating what portion of the geometry gets sliced up to animating the cuts along the axes. Furthermore, you can easily change the nature of the cuts from flat sheets to extrudes with controllable thickness and introduce bevel to their caps, or you can even generate them as splines. Yet, one of the best features of Slicer is its seamless integration with Cinema 4D's diverse tools. For instance, by pairing the plugin with the matrix object, you can have precise control over the placement of each and every slice as well as the color of the shreds. Alternatively, by utilizing the sweep object, you can give your shreds different looks based on various shapes, and the results are often really interesting to say the least, like creating a shredded text made out of smaller text. Now, if you are wondering about the possibility of applying cuts that are not on different planes of orientation than each other, well, by harnessing the power of cloners, it has never been easier to slice your objects from different angles. You can create a radial array of cuts, make slices that allow some basic shapes, or by adding a random effector, you can introduce chaos and shred the object from various angles, which results in interesting layers that can resemble modern art or something like that. Next we have Recall, a plugin that we think you're gonna find very interesting, as it presents a solution to one of the longest standing predicaments in the realm of 3D workflows, which is the challenge of retracing your steps to a prior state. After performing multiple iterations, you can no longer go back through traditional means. So Recall operates in the form of state-saving tags that open the door to different possibilities. I mean, with it, you can say goodbye to the fear of breaking down your objects when modeling or messing up the camera shots. So with this plugin, you can modify your mesh's geometry, tweak its attributes and properties, change the position of your camera, edit the intensity of your lights, and everything else in between. And then later, you can seamlessly go back to any preferred states that you have saved. Furthermore, Recall's versatility allows you to work on singular objects, hierarchical groups, or even keyframes. And if that's not enough, the plugin also allows you to revert dynamics-induced changes or iterations that were applied through Cinema 4D's effectors and deformers. In essence, if you can change its properties, Recall can bring it back to its previous states. For the next plugin, we have a tool that bridges the gap between meshes and splines, with a perfectly fitting name, which is Mesh to Spline. So it allows you to turn your edges, polygons, and outlines of your objects into editable splines. It works on every type of geometry, even animated meshes. So to use the add-on is really simple. You can simply drag and drop your object or multiple meshes into the plugin, and then easily generate mesh volumes and sweeps that follow the object's outlines or turn the meshes themselves into HUD elements. From what I can see, one of the best things is that Mesh to Spline generates actual Cinema 4D splines, and it works like a charm with the native effectors, deformers, cloners, and MoGraph tools, which allows you to experiment with limitless combinations and create interesting shapes with a real-time update. But more importantly, it integrates seamlessly with selection tags, which allows you to control exactly where the splines get generated from, in addition to editing their properties with ease, selecting groups, and iterating on them separately. Another impressive feature is how you can combine Mesh to Spline with fields and dynamics to introduce interesting animations on top of your object's initial animation, which the spline follows, and this is really interesting. On a side note, if your preferred render engine doesn't have a tune feature, with this plugin, you can simulate tune and sketch effects, And speaking of render engines, the splines could be rendered through the hair feature, which enables faster results. And now talking again about splines, we have Ricochet, a plugin that gives your splines the ability to rebound off surfaces and geometry to simulate the look of, well, a ricocheting laser. Functioning as a particle system tailored for splines, Ricochet generates a line from one starting point and then bounces it on a pre-calculated path around your scene and off surfaces, and can even bounce splines within the model's geometry. Leveraging Cinema 4D's matrix objects, you can arm Ricochet with multiple origin points or even create fields of set points, from which the plugin will generate splines going in predetermined directions, or you can randomize their trajectory for a more chaotic result. With Ricochet, and from what I can see, you can do different stuff, whether it is filling any geometry or volume with bouncing splines, simulating the effect of electricity pulsing through objects, creating interesting FUI designs, or alternatively, using the surface alignment feature, which allows you to wrap the splines around objects rather than bouncing off. This is a unique feature with very interesting results. Now imagine this. You combine the surface alignment feature with the sweep generator to simulate the effect of sticky slime around your scene elements. And by having multiple origin points, you can rig a spider web from which your objects are dangling or held in place. In addition, Ricochet offers many possibilities in terms of animating the splines. You can have them endlessly bouncing with the right feature to simulate the effect of lasers bouncing off mirrors, or have their paths end when colliding with a surface, which allows you to attain cool scanning and cross-section effects. Now, if you need some productivity tools that allow you to deal with splines better, we have Utility Splines Collection, which is a versatile set of 5 plugins that you will find surely interesting, as they perform and deliver your spline workflow. The collection consists of small utility plugins that serve one purpose, which is to ease and simplify your day-to-day spline-related work, and present intuitive solutions to some of the most common and recurring issues when dealing with splines in general. Basically, you can think of them as extensions of Cinema 4D's spline tools. So let's explore these utilities and what they offer. First, there is Smooth, which, like the name implies, allows you to smooth out your splines around their harsh edges by averaging the distance between the different spline points. And through a simple slider, you can control how much the plugin influences the spline. Then there is Cleanup, which is more of a quality of life tool that removes useless and redundant points and segments. Essentially, anything that is not contributing is gonna be removed, to avoid overlapping and reduce the load on Cinema 4D. This is especially useful for a faster workflow and rendering. Next, there is Resample, which gives you the ability to segment and subdivide your splines, as it allows you to parametrically control the number and distribution of the points inside any spline. You can also use Reduction, which is also a straightforward plugin that shrinks the number of points in your splines based on 4 different algorithms, like a percentage of the steps between the points. And finally, we have Bezier, which from what I can see could be thought of as a combination of smooth and cleanup tools, as it allows you to smooth out unruly and harsh edges while reducing the number of controllable points. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but this is achieved through a set of Bezier handles that allow you to control the curves of the spline instead of controlling the individual points. Much like any well-designed set of plugins, the Utility Splines collection really shines when the tools are used in tandem and layered over each other. For example, you can resample a spline to get evenly distributed segments, then smooth the angles, and finally with the reduction tool, remove points from straight segments. This results in a perfect distribution of points, enough points for smooth angles, but no useless points that would slow down the work process, and much more combinations that simplify your spline workflow, making it a smoother and a more convenient experience. So guys, if you are interested in one of these plugins, you will find all the necessary links in the description down below. I hope you found this video useful and informative. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. You can also check some of our previous videos. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.